Hey everyone, welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about 3 reasons why your goal weight sucks. And believe me, your goal weight sucks, meaning that it doesn't really mean a lot to you. I know you have a goal weight you've been saying for a long time, but there's a great chance that when you say it, you're not filled with feelings of excitement and passion and inspiration. You're probably filled with feelings of dread or disconnect or nothingness. And so when I say there's 3 reasons your goal weight sucks, what I mean is that your goal weight doesn't fill you with the feelings that you need in order to achieve it. And there's a very specific reason for that. Because there's 3 types of people that have influenced your goal weight to suck. The first group is the weight loss industry. So the diet industry in and of itself has caused you to think about your weight in terms of a size, right? So the diet industry is all about what size you are. And that's all been boiled down to one number where you will look at your height and you will be told what weight you should be at. And that's that. The second group is the beauty industry. And the beauty industry has made your weight all about what you look like. And so that number is supposed to represent you looking like a model, basically, or at the very least, like an after version of a before and after picture. And that is not truly what you're looking for. And then the third piece is the medical industry. They have taken your weight, and once again, they've reduced it down to a point on a chart. And they look at your height, and then they say, okay, here's the weight you should be based on a study of white middle-aged men from European countries. So what I'm trying to say is that never once have you been taught to sit down and figure out the proper weight. And you've been conditioned to give your weight very little meaning. If I ask you why you chose your goal weight, it would come down to basically a chart or someone told you what you should weigh. But there's so much more to it. Now, the good news is I'm working on a training that's going to help you create this that will be available this week. So if you want help actually creating and identifying a goal weight that really resonates with you, make sure that you go to the link in my bio, go get the hypnosis session I give you, watch the video I made. And this week I will send you a link for this training that I'm putting together to help you choose the proper goal weight for yourselves. I hope this helps you out. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them here on a Monday. Yeah, I see. Must have been a lag. What was going on? Was it acting screwy? Jim, check your YouTube. You were live then not. Oh, yes, I was. That's because I started and I don't know. I messed it up. I messed it up, so I had to restart. So yeah, it was that was my fault. User error. Sometimes I don't do my full checklist before I pop on here. Sometimes I just like to just go for it. And pretty much half the time when I just go for it, I miss something and screw it up. But there it is. Yeah. So I hope everyone's having a good day. Here we are. It is a funny week because it's the 31st. So you might be feeling a little bit of weirdness. It's Monday. So it's like you want to start a weight loss plan because summer's right around the corner now and you're starting to feel that because it's springish. But on the other hand, it's not actually the first yet. So that feels a little weird. So today is a funny day because it's the last day of the month, but it's the first day of the week. And so that will stop some people from starting their weight loss plan this week. I joke, but I'm no better off. Okay. I'm as silly as the rest of us, where I literally want to start walking more. And I've wanted to do this for probably, I would say 3 weeks. And I just haven't. I don't know why. It's been warmer. It's been nice. I just haven't done it. And so I said last week, I said, I'm going to do it from as soon as April 1st, I'm going to start doing it. So I'm not going to start on a Monday because it's the 31st. So I wait till tomorrow. Humans are silly. You know, it's not about not being silly. It's about understanding you're silly and then working around that. I think that's the secret to success. But anyways, so I hope everyone's having a nice day because I know it is getting to the point. You know, I say this all the time that I know people think a lot like January is the big month for weight loss. It's kind of true too, but the biggest months usually are April and May because the weather starts warming up and then summer intrudes on you. Summer thoughts become intrusive and you can't avoid them anymore. So, Martha says, so true. Yeah, it's like that. I don't know why we're like that. But it's again, so that's what I mean too, where it's goofy. Like part of my brain says, Jim, don't be stupid. Just go for a walk now. You'll feel better. You want to go for a walk? Tries to be better. Start walking now. Right. But there's another part of me that's just like been conditioned by the culture that they're new beginnings, right? Streaky thinking. So I talk about against it all the time, but it's not like I'm talking about it like it doesn't, like just because I talk about it, I'm not going to experience that. That's what I'm trying to say. I got the same dumb shit in my head, but I recognize it as such and I utilize it. So I'm okay with being silly. I'm okay with not starting on a Monday, even though it makes no sense. And I will start tomorrow. Anyways. What's up, Azra? Azra says, is it okay to have a bigger breakfast if that's when I'm my hungriest? Yeah, of course. Of course. There's no right or wrong. If there's one message I could put across there, it might be that one, that there is no right or wrong. There's only what works for you. And I wish if people really internalize that message, I think it'd be so helpful, because the diet industry really, in a nutshell, is basically people telling you what to do. And I know you think, well, I just want to be told what to do. I don't know. Start trusting yourself. Start believing in yourself. I mean, of course, we usually got to learn other stuff too along the way. We usually don't know enough to just get the results we want. However, we do usually know, especially when it comes to weight, a lot more than you think you do. So anyway, so yeah, if you're hungriest in the morning, if that's true, a bigger breakfast is fine, because at the end of the day, your weight comes down to your average. I believe this, anyways. That I believe your weight comes down to your average calorie consumption over a week. So to me, when you start appreciating your different patterns, hunger patterns, for example, maybe you're hungrier in the morning when you wake up. Once you realize that, then you can eat a bigger breakfast, right? As opposed to believing, well, okay, breakfast, I got to not eat breakfast, right? You might believe that. You read that somewhere. Oh, I can't eat breakfast, but you're starving. Well, now in my opinion, you're setting yourself up for failure. So yeah, Azra, it's fine to have a bigger breakfast if that's when you're hungriest. Now what I would do as well, though, is I wouldn't just eat more food. When I have my hungriest times, I'm looking to strategically utilize them to the maximum point. And so when I'm going to be hungriest, what I'm going to pit against my hunger is, if I'm really hungry, then that's going to be a time when I really want to nourish myself. I'm going to put the highest level of nourishment, because the hungrier you are, your hunger changes the flavors of food that you eat. Okay. So a good kind of like game to play is, am I hungry or am I bored? And if you're thinking about eating like, a plain chicken breast or an apple or a salad, or some broccoli, if you're thinking about eating that and it sounds really good, then you're probably hungry. If you think about those things and you're like, oh, no, I don't want that, then you're probably just bored. So, understanding yourself is really important, and understanding how to manage your hunger in a way that works for you is crucial. So yeah, Azra, I would experiment with making breakfast, eating more at breakfast, but simultaneously I would work on optimizing what I was eating. So I would eat highly nutritious, nutrient dense foods, which really just is another way to say whole natural foods, whole plant-based foods. I had someone last week. I don't know what they were talking about. I had someone on my, so I hope that helps you out, Azra. But if you have questions, keep going. But it just made me think. I had someone on a video I did last week. I was talking about a salad. I know that's what it was. I said I would use hot fudge for dressing if it would get me to eat more salads. And they said, well, that's just going to be more calories and you're not getting nutrients in your body. So what kind of, how do you think of a salad? I'd never heard that before. So I hope when you all think of salads, you think of some nutrient dense stuff going in your body. I can only imagine in my mind, this person must have thought, what, like an iceberg had a lettuce or something with hot fudge on it. So if you don't know about the salads I eat, you should go to my pinned videos and watch the salad making videos that I have. Because salads are a great way to put lots of nutrition in your body. But anyways, it is okay to have whatever works for you is okay. There's Kent. What's up, Kent? Kent said, I started my PYT journey last October 16th. So glad I didn't wait until the beginning of the year. Yes, exactly, Kent. Always proud of my people that start in October. Some of my favorite clients to work with are the ones that start in the fall. And then some of my favorites, and it's funny, I will tell you what's very interesting, is how many people sign up for coaching in December. Yeah, you wouldn't think that probably, and I wouldn't have, but yeah, a lot of people that are really serious, they will make commitments in December. They won't just ride out the holidays and start the new year. So, anyways, though, yeah, started at other times is always good. But hey, starting at any time's good, right? So, Ken, I think you're right on the money. So, all of you thinking about starting, start today. Don't wait. The quicker we start, the better for sure. Look at that. Kent's already 60% of the way to his goal. There you go, right? And if you wait until the new year, you probably a third, half. Yeah, you'd probably only be about 20% of the way to your goal, 30% of the way to your goal. Nice job, Kent. Nice job taking action. Yvette says, 2 weeks ago, only lost a half a pound, so I cut out wine. No weight at all. No weight loss second week. I am going to say 2 weeks ago, only lost half a pound, so I cut out wine. No weight loss at all second week. Yeah, but I mean, that doesn't really mean anything. I don't know how much you cut initially. 2 weeks is nothing. I know you can't believe it, folks. But 2 weeks doesn't mean shit. You can't tell anything from 2 weeks. Let's hear me. Wait, it's not plugged in. What the hell? Yeah, I know no one wants to hear that because you think 2 weeks you should be getting rip-roaring results probably. But I will tell you this phrase I say all the time is that weight loss is inconsistent and unpredictable in the short term. Oh my God. Am I a half-wit? I messed everything up today. Here we go. There you go, TikTok. Now you'll be able to hear me. What am I doing? Yeah, weight loss is inconsistent and unpredictable in the short term and very consistent and predictable in the long term. So don't get discouraged of that. The diet industry doesn't want you to lose weight. The diet industry exists to have repeat customers, and the diet industry is a front for the food industry. You didn't know you're going to learn about the conspiracy of the diet industry, did you? But Weight Watchers was owned by Heinz. Jenny Craig was owned by Nestle. Atkins Food Products owned by the same company as Auntie Pretzels and Cinnabon. Slim Fast owned by the same company as Ben & Jerry's Ice Cream. I'm not just making this up. I think the world's round. I'm not totally off the chart with conspiracies, but I think when it comes to weight and diets, yeah, they're not there to help you out. And so the diets have conditioned you to think about your weight loss in timeframes that are ridiculously short. And when you start measuring your weight loss in a week, 2 weeks, I know that's what you've been conditioned to do. And I know you've lost weight in a week or two, but that's only when you've done crazy, unsustainable shit. When you do normal stuff and you start to strategically reduce your calories, a week or two doesn't mean shit. Well, I'm in a hurry. I know you're in a hurry, but you got to stop being in a hurry. Again, your goal is not to lose weight. It's to live at your goal weight. But I get it, Yvette. I know it's frustrating. You're making all these changes and you're not getting the results you want, but you're doing the dieting thing, and the dieting thing almost never works. I mean, dieting is estimated to fail 95 to 98% of the time ultimately, which doesn't mean they don't lose weight initially. It means that ultimately you put the weight back on. 95 to 98% of people that lose weight on a diet put it back on. And most people never lose weight on a diet. So again, diet thinking is very short term. It's extreme things to do that are unsustainable and feel overwhelming to you. That's what you're doing, Yvette. It's almost a guaranteed strategy to quit any minute now. And you've probably done this, I bet, if not hundreds of times, close to hundreds of times. There we go. Rachel is in the program. After I started cutting back on wine, it took me 4 to 6 weeks to see a difference. I've been losing weight gradually and comfortably, and I fight the urge every day not to start a diet. Yes. Those are two different people, by the way. So, yes. Rachel is, and Rachel's just killing it. Again, she's in the program and it's like a duck to water, just killing it, just really getting it on a deep level. But again, here's the difference though. Rachel, she has not completely cut wine out. She's compressed when she drinks it. And now she's, again, 4 to 6 weeks into it, and she's getting the weight loss results, and she feels comfortable with how she's getting them. So it's not like this strict, this strict cutting everything out so I lose weight quickly. It's this comfortable way of managing my habits so that I reduce the wine here and here and here, and I'll have it here. Feels comfortable. Feels like like an agreement, a win-win agreement. And now you had to wait a little bit. That was the hard part, but now here comes the weight loss. And not only are you losing weight, but now it's sustainable feeling. So that's what it is. Yeah, then Kamani says, I've been losing weight gradually and comfortably, and I fight the urge every day not to start a diet. Yeah, again, that's what you dieters, what I'm always here talking about primarily is the mindset. And the main mindset you all have is a dieter mindset. And the dieter mindset, again, you're always fighting this. It's never fast enough. That's the main tool the dieting industry has used on you to sabotage you, is that it's all about how fast you can lose the weight. And that sets you up for failure in so many ways. So, I mean, again, if that's a perfect example here, and I don't know what you did, you meant to cut weight. I don't know what you did cutting wise, but 2 weeks in, and only lost half a pound. And so what if because people lose weight quickly and slowly. So what if you're a person who loses weight slowly? What if the weight that for you doesn't start coming off until 4 to 6 weeks out and you just never get there? Now, 4 to 6 weeks is nothing. I know you think it is, but that's because you've been conditioned to think that way. If you think about like getting everything you need to learn to get a degree in college or to learn a trade, what are you going to do? Learn that in a week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks? You can't learn shit in 4 weeks. You don't accomplish anything real big in 4 weeks. I hate to tell you. You don't start a thriving business in 4 weeks. You don't lose all the weight in 4 weeks. Oh, well, if you lose 2 pounds, a pound, 2 pounds, who gives a shit? You have no idea. Your body does. And that's most of you. What do you want? You got to hear this stuff, because otherwise you're in the fucking never-ending loop of feeling bad. You'll never get to the weight loss because you feel discouraged before you ever get a chance to get to the weight loss phase. And it's normal and natural. There's nothing wrong with your body. There's nothing wrong with your plan. You're just impatient because the diets have been working on you your whole life. And you can't think, outside of those tiny, teeny time frames. But good job taking action of that. But yeah, you better change that mindset up. Azar says, Jim, I bought 0-calorie pasta and hated it and immediately thought of you. I ended up eating the 0-calorie and then binging an entire bowl of actual pasta. Yeah, classic move. Again, Azar's in the program, so I'm going to get clean pleasure days. Pleasure days are such a fundamental part of the Program Yourself Thin system. Like literal fucking pleasure, like the most pleasure you can possibly get out of the food. How about that? That's like in my opinion, the most pleasure I get out of the food is the core reason I'm able to master my weight. It's the opposite of your diet mindset, because your diet mindset says, what's the most pleasurable thing? Get rid of it. Program Yourself Thin. What's the most pleasurable thing? Keep it. Let's build around that. That's how you lose weight and keep it off. Yeah, might as well have the real thing. Exactly, Azra. I did the same thing. I've experimented with the pastas. I personally I don't like wheat pasta. I've been a vegetarian in natural food world for 25 years. So you don't even know, folks. This shit was bad. I've eaten some things that, good Lord, awful stuff. And pasta's right up there, top of the list. So personally, I will tell you one tweak I've made to my pasta, and this is where I've ended up at, and I've been at for a while, is I do use protein plus pasta from Berea. And that has chickpea flour in it and a regular flour. And that I've found to me is a sweet spot. Actually, at this point, I do prefer it even more to regular pasta. But I will 1,000% prefer that stuff to like the real weird shit. So yeah, again, I think we got to get out of the mindset that we got to make ourselves miserable to lose weight. I don't think that's a good mindset to have, and I don't think it works for very long. So that's what I think. What's up, Carrie? How's it going? Hey, love the color, huh? Yeah, I like this thing. So soft too. It's so comfortable. Sweet Quest says our body's weight fluctuates for women. I would gain 4 pounds weight, but it would go a week later. Yeah, absolutely, Sweet Quest. And that's another piece. I didn't even go into it with a vet, but that's another thing. I don't know how often you're weighing yourself. People that weigh themselves once a week when they're trying to lose weight, that's the fucking cruelest, worst thing you can do. Just either use the scale and use it consistently, at least every day, every other day, or don't use the scale at all. To weigh yourself arbitrarily once a week is so weird to me, because that whole week your weight is fluctuating. And so if you pick once a week, it's like roulette. It's not even accurate. That's my point. You could weigh yourself Monday morning, then weigh yourself the next Monday morning. and you might be down a half pound in that time. But on Sunday, you might have been down 2 pounds. Monday, you might weight drop down back down 2 pounds. You're like, you literally have no idea. And if you start weighing it, listen, I've done 6,000 private weight loss sessions. I'm not pulling this stuff out of my ears. Like this is real stuff that I've developed from working with real people. And if you only weigh yourself once a week, you're missing lots and lots and lots of data. You're not understanding how your body works. So you think, okay, well, I weigh myself one day and I weigh myself Monday here and I lost half a pound. But what if during the week, what if all of a sudden Thursday it dipped 2 pounds, then went up 1.5 pounds, then it went down 2 pounds, and then you weighed yourself and it went up another 1.5 pounds, but it's a half pound lower than what you started last week. You've missed all that information. I'd want to know it, but again, teach their own. Because I love hearing the connection between diets and the food industry. Yeah, of course, right? It's fun hearing that stuff because, again, if you're here listening to this, you're probably a smart, intelligent person. And you're probably, like most people that are in the program, are overthinkers, type A, perfectionist type people. And they spend most of their time thinking about the reason why they can't lose weight. Most people, I mean, if you're listening to this right now, I bet one of the main questions you're always asking yourselves, what's wrong with me? How come I can't lose the weight? I know what to do. Why don't I do it? How come I never do it? What happened? I don't have the willpower. And you're just like, you can't figure it out. Well, here's why, because you don't know. You've never been taught how to master your weight. You've been taught how to lose weight by a diet industry that doesn't want you to keep the weight off. So they teach you, first of all, they fill your head with a concept. The concept of dieting is a temporary concept in your mind. Your subconscious mind thinks of dieting as a temporary thing I'm going to do until I lose the weight. Well, and then what? Well, this maintenance concept is there's no there. You have no maintenance plan at all. So I don't know, I'll figure it out when I get there. Have you ever figured it out? Has anyone ever figured it out? What a weird way to just casually, oh yeah, I'll just figure that out later. No, you won't. You never have. And I'm telling you, the lack of a maintenance plan that you have in your mind now is going to show up even if you lost the weight and you're just going to put the weight back on. 95 to 98% of people that lose weight on a diet put the weight back on. You lost weight and you put the weight back on. So it might be time to stop focusing only on the weight loss piece and start focusing on the maintenance piece. That's what I think you should do. And that's what Program Yourself Thin is. Again, it's a weight mastery program, meaning that on day one, we're focusing on your weight maintenance. Give a shit about weight loss. I care about weight mastery, living at your goal weight. It says, thanks, you're welcome. Vicky said, I've reduced alcohol to my pleasure days or less, but when I feel like it, I have it. I do the exact same thing. Vicky. What's up, Bob? Oh, Bob says, yes, the Saturday morning weigh-in was big in me getting depressed and quitting my OMAD. Yeah. Well, good for you, Bob. So again, I mean, once you realize the OMAD, especially the way you were doing it, wasn't a good strategy for you, it opens you up to now be able to figure out what works better for you. So again, use that experience as a real foundational piece to build and grow on. So good job. I'm proud of you. But yeah, you were doing that too. Again, you make everything about the Saturday and you put so much. This is what you've been taught to do. Again, it's not your fault. You've just been taught to do this your whole life. Your mom was taught how to do it, so she taught it to you. Shit, we're getting to the point where your grandmother might have been taught to do it, So I mean, it starts to become generational dieting mindset. And so it's not even just what we're taught from down up high. It's even through osmosis, through our environment and the people in it. They're all reinforcing this diet mindset, these diet strategies that don't work. They fucking don't work. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, it's not much debate. When we live in a culture where 75% of the population is overweight or obese, it's not up for debate. It's already been decided. So every one of those people that knows about dieting and has tried dieting, User 802 says weighing every day and going up and down would make me nuts. Yeah, it would make you nuts if you did not change your mindset. That's the fucking point. You can't just start using a scale if you think like a dieter because it'll make you crazy. But if you learn to use the scale as a data point, if you learn to use the scale and think of the scale as the speedometer in your car, you don't freak out watching the speedometer in your car go up and down. You use it as a data point to help you decide what to do next. The scale is not the problem, anyways, folks. The scale just reveals the problem, which is that you don't know how to influence your weight at all. You don't mind looking at the speedometer because you know how to make the car go faster or slower. The scale absolutely terrifies you because it reveals that you don't know how to change your weight. So it's not the scale going up and down each day. It's the fact that you don't really know how to change your weight. And if you did, you'd want more data points. You'd want to understand your body. What does my body do? Holy shit. Went up 2 pounds, went down 2 pounds. Oh my God. What? Oh my God. It went up. I thought I was going to lose weight. Oh, what did I eat? More salt? Oh, I did. It makes you more understanding of it. Now I know as a dieter, you can't imagine that. As a dieter, the scale controls you, right? Because everything's about what's on that scale. That number is the only thing that you're measuring. You don't give a shit if you've been eating less, drinking less wine, you're fucking sleeping better, you're more energized, you're proud of yourself, you're happier, you feel like your clothes fit better, you're walking a little taller, you're breathing a little deeper. You don't give a fuck about that. None of that stuff matters to you if you're a dieter. The only thing that matters to a dieter is that number on the scale. So yeah, if that's your mindset, yeah, you're never going to be able to use the scale very much. And once a week, okay, that's as much as I can do it. Because you're terrified of the scale, but you're really terrified of the scale because it reveals that you have no clue how to change your weight. You have an idea of how to drastically change your eating. I'll stop eating carbs. I'll stop eating for 16 hours. I'll count every calorie I put in my mouth. You have an idea of those things, what to do, but you have no idea how to do anything consistent that's going to make your weight predictably go down and stay there. You don't even think in the words I'm using right now. And so, yes, the scale feels absolutely terrifying to you, but that should be an indicator that there's something wrong with your mindset because it's just a data point. And if it has that much control over your emotional state, how are you going to succeed anyways? If you're so at the mercy of that scale, how are you going to master your weight? So yeah, you couldn't just step on the scale. You would also have to change your mindset. But anyways, your point's taken. It's not unusual. Yeah, we go up and down naturally because there's always fluctuation depending on consumption hormones. Yes, absolutely. It helps you understand yourself more too. That is another piece of the scale. Do you like red lentil rice? I've never tried it, but I probably would. I like cauliflower rice enough. Pretty good. What's up, Kelly? Kelly says, I tried that mushroom pasta once. Good Lord, it's the worst. Had to hold my nose to get it down. I've been there. I've done the same stuff. So I know exactly what you mean. And I've done all the pastas, the whole wheat ones, the black bean ones, the mushroom ones, like you said. I've done the use zucchini instead. It make little squirrels with it. Use that. I no, thank you. None of it's pasta to me. Now, again, if you like it and it's fine for you, knock yourselves out. But not for me. I'd rather eat pasta I like once a week the way I want to eat it. Composer for Screen says, I would really recommend that red lentil rice. It's quite a convincing alternative. Yeah, that sounds great. Of course, I don't have a problem with regular rice. I will let you know. I don't think carbs are that bad, folks. All the healthiest societies on the planet over history have been high carb diets. There's been no fucking high protein diet society on Earth. Short of a few, there's a few Eskimo tribes, a few African tribes, apparently. What society are you pointing to say, oh, well, they're a high protein diet and they're thriving health-wise? What society are you pointing at? What carnivore society are you looking at and saying, that's the way to eat? These people are killing it. Just so you know, just a little commentary on the carb thing. That's a bunch of bullshit, in my opinion. I'm not a nutritionist dietitian, though, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. What's up, Julie? Kelly says, definitely generational dieting. My family, 4 generations now. Yeah, that's where we're at. And I like to point out 4 generations deep of dieting. And there's not, in all of history of dieting, there's not one diet that stands out as the premier diet to keep weight off. How crazy is that? Let me phrase it a different way. They're all fucking fad diets. They're all fad diets. There's not, again, there's ways of eating. I mean, a Mediterranean diet as a way of eating makes a lot of sense. But the idea that you're going to do something to lose weight by drastically changing your diet, using diet as a verb, there's never been one predominant premier diet. The closest you would get is probably Weight Watchers. And that had nothing to do with the silly plan. Like, I don't want to disparage Weight Watchers because I think it's the best out of all of them, but I think it's the best out of all of them because of the social component. If you take the social component, if you take the social component out of Weight Watchers, it's just calorie counting with a little marketing twist on it. You know, Weight Watchers was started by a housewife who just met up with other housewives and talked about weight. And it turned out the social aspect was probably the most helpful thing that's come down the pike. And it had nothing to do with telling you what to fucking eat. So I think that alone reveals that the mindset piece of it, the not just the being told what to eat piece of it, of weight loss, weight mastery, is the most important piece. And it's the one you never learn. But yeah. Julie says, feel good not eating after dinner. Ah, great job, Julie. Yeah. I bet. What's up, Melancholy? Melancholy says, I feel like dieting is a part of survival mode, trying to be enough in order to ease pressure on me. My weight has always been a source of tension between me and others, so a diet helps. Yeah. I need therapy, too broke to get it. Yeah. Most people could probably use some therapy or at least some coaching. I don't know about therapy, but I'm not a therapist, so, you know, I am only a coach. But yeah, dieting is part of survival mode. I would agree. And I don't think most people that are dieting feel like they're thriving. Doesn't seem that way to me. Do y'all feel like you're thriving when you go on a diet? Probably not. That's probably why you're not doing the diet. There's another kind of like something that's like hiding in plain sight is like, well, why don't I start this diet? How come I never really do anything? Because you fucking hate it. You hate dieting. You hate not eating for 16 hours. You hate not eating carbs. You hate counting every calorie. You hate it. That's why you're not doing it. It's not a trick question. It's not rocket science. I mean, it's really obvious why. It's really obvious. So if that was true for you, if you are not dieting, if you're not losing weight because you don't want to do it really, you got two options. You can either get yourself to do it, which is never going to work, or you could find an easier way to do it and realize you're never going to believe this. I'm going to blow your minds. I'm going to blow your minds here. Did you know you can lose weight in phases? Did you know that? I found a lot of people don't realize this because most people think you have to start dieting 100% with the program on day one. A lot of people here might be doing that right now because today's Monday. You start your keto plan perfectly. God forbid your carnivore plan perfectly. You're counting calories. You counted every calorie so far today. You know? So you got to do it perfectly, right? That's a diet. You start day one 100% perfect and you just ride that perfection out to your goal weight. I don't see any problems with that plan. Right? I mean, God, it's just so weird. It's weird. It's weird, but again, it's understandable because you've been programmed that way your whole life. You've been programmed, like we were just saying, generational even at this point. You're a generational dieter. There's a good chance. You're almost guaranteed you're a second or third generation dieter at this point. So, you know, you're just getting deeper and deeper into something that doesn't work. And what's weird though about generational stuff is we become less and less likely to question it. That's why I get on here every day. Try and help that out. Melancholy says, I hate dieting and feels like punishment. What does punishment have to do with health long-term? Mental health suffers when you hate your diet and feel stuck. Agreed, Melancholy. Agreed 1,000%. That's said better than I said. Yeah. Dieting feels like punishment to all of you. And you wonder why you're not doing it? You're never going to believe this, but humans don't like to feel like they're being punished. Humans don't like experiencing pain and deprivation. But the diet industry has tried to condition you, well, no pain, no gain. If you're not willing to feel like shit and feel miserable, then you don't deserve to lose weight. Isn't that the message? But what if that was bullshit? What if losing weight could be really fun and enjoyable? What if losing weight on day one could feel amazing? Well, it's possible, folks. Yeah, Kelly says mushroom pasta is the exact opposite of thriving. Agreed. When you got to eat your nose with your food with your nose closed because it tastes so bad, that's probably a bad sign. When you're obsessed with food, you're so hungry and that's what you got to do to lose weight, that's probably a bad sign. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Spelling Collie's third generation dieter. Yeah. But yeah. Thoughts on GLP-1 shots? I get asked this all the time. I'm not against GLP-1 shots, because I think you got to understand. Like I teach a program called Program Yourself Thin, and so it's a weight mastery program. It's a comprehensive, holistic program strategy to master your weight. Now, I'll be the first to admit that it takes a bit of focus, energy, and commitment to go through the program, to utilize it, to install it. And I think most people are not willing to do that. That's what I think. Now, if you're not willing to do that work, if you're not willing to follow a comprehensive, holistic plan to really master your weight once and for all, and you just want to lose weight, then I think the GLP-1 shots are your best option. Diets do not work. And you know that because every single diet out there now is now trying to create a hybrid program with GLP-1 usage. Program Yourself Thin's not, because it works. So, again, if you're going to just diet, GLP-1s are probably better, because the dieting's never going to work for you. I don't want to sound, so it sounds so negative, Jim. Well, am I being negative, or am I being just honest with the numbers? It's not negative to just be honest with what's happening. 75% of the population overweight or obese. 95 to 98% of people that lose weight on a diet put it back on. So that just the numbers aren't good. So it's not me sounding negative. I want to be positive and help you live at your goal weight, but I don't think the diets are going to do it. And so GLP-1s are here. Now, my impression of GLP-1s, they don't seem to be a danger initially. They've been testing them on type 2 diabetics for 20 years. I think the big questions that a lot of people don't know about GLP-1s, number one, is that the weight loss seems to happen for about 12 to 16 months and then stops. And now you're going to stay at that weight, and you're going to have to maintain your GLP-1 usage forever in order to maintain that weight loss. So that's something to think about. And I think we're going to hear more of that. I think we're going to start to get that story coming on probably another 3 months. It'll start, because the medicines really just started hitting the market last January. And so here we are closing in on about 16 months, right around September. And I think then we're going to start to hear people, there you are, paying your $1,000 a month to stay at the same weight, and you're still not the weight you want to be at. You still feel not good about your body. You still don't feel happy. And I think I'm looking forward to see what happens there. So in that sense, that's what I think about GLP-1s. But then again, you have to understand everything's relative. I live in a world where my clients are consistently able to transform their mindset, lifestyle, and eating strategies so that they can get to their goal weight and live there for the rest of their lives on near autopilot. And not only is it just, are they succeeding with their weight, but in Program Yourself Thin, we take the weight and wrap it in personal development. So to be honest, it's not even about just a weight. It's about becoming the best version of you possible. And so when you compare that to GLP-1s, there's no comparison. I mean, Program Yourself Thin is far superior. Last year, I was tracking my private clients' weight loss, and it was all right in the ballpark of the GLP-1s, right around 15% of their body weight over the year. The difference being they had not injected anything in their bodies. They didn't have to pay $1,000 for the rest of their lives to maintain it. They could still lose more weight, and they turn themselves into better versions of themselves the whole time. So again, I mean, you don't hear that usually. So GLP-1s compared to diets, I think they're better if you don't mind injecting shit into your body. Compared to surgery, I think they're way better. So yeah, compared to Program Yourself Thin, I think they're way worse. So there you go. That's what I think about them. What's up, Karen? Velocity says, I eat foods to increase my GLP-1 naturally. I think that's smart too. I think there's absolutely ways to increase your GLP-1 naturally. GLP-1 hormone's a natural hormone that your body produces. And one of the primary ways you can start creating more GLP-1 hormone is to eat more whole natural foods that take longer to digest, take longer in your stomach. It not only increases GLP-1 hormones, GLP-1 hormone is the one hormone they've identified. There's lots of other stuff going on in there as well. And the more whole natural foods you eat, the more you activate all those different things. There's a thing called the ileal brake. So when you eat more fiber-rich foods, more of the fiber gets to the lower parts of your intestines and activates this ileal brake, which lowers your hunger. More nutrient density and variety lowers your hunger. There's lots of things. The lifestyle can reduce your hunger. I mean, there's lots of things that can reduce your hunger naturally. But again, you need a comprehensive, holistic strategy. And most people just want one thing, and it's not your fault. You've been conditioned that way. Every diet, that's the main marketing tactic of the diet industry, is the one thing tactic, where everything's about one thing. Keto's are about carbs. Weight Watchers is about points. Calorie counting is about the number of calories you're consuming. Intermittent fasting about the number of hours you're eating. It just goes on and on. So you've been conditioned to think about your weight as like just changing one thing, but that's bullshit. You need to change a number of things, in my opinion, to be able to get to your goal weight and then stay there. So he says it's because they want that market. Yep. Weight loss meds market. So GLP just suppresses your appetite. Yeah, that's the primary thing. It does other stuff too. Don't get me wrong. I mean, GLP-1s originally were discovered because, well, that's even a crazy story. Literally, they were doing studies on Gila monsters, like the reptiles, and found out that they have they started to notice that saliva they created, and that's how they started to identify GLP-1. Anyways, they started using GLP-1s on type 2 diabetics because it was helping type 2 diabetics pancreases produce more insulin. It was kind of juicing up the pancreas cells to produce more insulin. So that's where it started. But then they started to notice the side effect that it reduced hunger. And so you have GLP-1 receptors in your gut, you have GLP-1 receptors in your brain and other areas. So it has this holistic effect on your hunger, primarily for the weight loss aspect of it. It reduces your hunger for some people, not everyone, a percentage of people. But it does seem the majority of people that take it will experience reduced hunger, which will lead to weight loss. And that's what GLP-1 does. And that feeling of having more. So what it does, it dramatically boosts your GLP-1 hormone. And that GLP-1 hormone has a wide ranging effect on you, but basically it makes you feel like you're really, really full because it's at a naturally high level. So you feel super full. A lot of people feel nauseous because they feel so full. Then that cuts the food noise down because you feel kind of full and nauseous all day. So you're not that hungry. So again, it's a miracle in the sense, like if you're talking about obesity, it's a miracle because it does seem to help the greatest number of people lose weight without really them having to do anything. They just inject themselves and now all of a sudden their hunger goes down, they eat less, they lose weight. But again, to my people are perfectionist overthinkers, want to do it in a different way. And so I almost hesitate to even compare them. But again, if you're just completely and totally out of your mind, desperate, and don't have the time, energy, or motivation to really tackle this and resolve this problem at a core level, then I think it's great. But yeah. Malchus says, hello, Jim. Do you know the new medicine named Mounjaro for weight loss? If so, what is your opinion? It's the same thing. The Mounjaro is a little bit different because I believe they also got there's another hormone that they add into it. But again, and they'll keep refining these medicines. So whatever, we'll see where that all goes. But there will always be people, that just are non-responders to it. And I don't know, I don't think there's enough data yet, but it could be 20% of people just don't respond to it. So they don't have a decrease in appetite. They don't have a decrease in food noise. Nothing goes on. And then it's a substantial number of people. So if you try it and you just don't feel that good or don't feel anything, that's not that unusual. But yeah, the Mounjaro, some schools of thought think that's a better one because it's kind of the newer evolved one, but they will have more refinements of it, as it moves forward. But my issue again is really, it's the paradigm that it's within. To me, and then again, it's no judgment. If someone's morbidly obese and they just want to take an injection, I think you should do that. I don't really work with a lot of morbidly obese people. A couple, but the primary people I work with are women between the ages of 45 and 70 who are usually 50 to 100 pounds overweight, let's say. And they want to do it in a more holistic way. They want to do it in a way where not only are they going to lose weight, but they're going to transform their life to some degree. They're going to become a better version of themselves because it's not just the fucking weight. It's your relationships. It's, well, what am I doing in my lifestyle? What am I doing in my life now? What do I want to do? What jazzes me up? You know, how am I going to live the rest of my life? It's Program Yourself then really is, it's a weight loss program. It's sneaky. It's more of a personal development program that makes you lose weight. I think it's a better description of it. And I think that piece is wildly important because most people, you don't realize this, but most people, when they go on a diet, they trade the pleasure of the food for the pleasure of the scale going down. The pleasure and excitement of the food for the pleasure and excitement of the scale going down. And as soon as the scale stops going down and you get to your goal weight and you think it's going to be this magical, amazing way to live, it's not, because there's a thing called hedonic adaptation. So you just get used to it. It's like getting a brand new car. Yeah, the first fucking week, it's amazing. You can't show everyone. This is cool. Oh my God. And then 3 months later, it's just your car. And that's what happens to your weight. It's fucking great. I mean, I love being at my goal weight, but it's because my goal weight means a lot more to me than just how I look. If all that mattered was how I looked, who gives a fuck? I look older every day. I'm balder every day. I got more circles under my fucking eyes every day. So if all that mattered was how I was looking, I'd be eating donuts every day to deal with the depressing nature of getting older. Don't think that doesn't matter. So again, we need to imbue the goal weight. That's actually, I'm doing a training for the Thrive group in a little bit. We're going to talk about how to give your goal weight more meaning. That was the big breakthrough I had. So I can kind of talk about it a little now because I'm going to do the training in a couple hours here. So I will have finally a draft of the training, and I'm going to have this all for you, by the way, for everyone here. You don't have to be part of my program. This is going to be a free training I'm going to give you, and I'm going to support you with this. I'm really excited about this. I know for those of you that listen all the time, I know I've been teasing it for a little while, but I think you're going to find it well worth the wait and really the key part of the whole process, because for most of you, you never even chose your goal weight. Yeah. You sat down and picked that weight. No, someone mentioned it to you. A doctor told it to you. A chart told you what you should weigh. Your weight doesn't have any meaning to it. If any, the only meaning your weight has to is it makes you feel bad, mostly your goal weight. So you're backwards, lost in the sauce when it comes to your goal weight. I promise you. But this is part of why people accept Mounjaro and GLP-1s as a solution, because it's just a shit ass limited solution. Again, what you tell me, what would you rather have? Would you rather take a weight loss medicine that allowed you to lose, let's say 20, 25% of your body weight from where you're at now total? And then you had to take that medicine for the rest of your life, and you always felt kind of full. You always felt a little weird when you were eating. You always knew you were going to be on this medicine forever. And or would you rather be able to do it naturally in a way where you transformed your mindset, your lifestyle, and your eating so that you think like a thin and healthy person naturally, and you are living your potential? You don't just weigh this. You feel amazing. You feel good. Your body's strong. You feel in control of your mind. You feel like you've got a way of living that fills you with energy and happiness, and your mind's quiet, and you feel emotions you want to feel each and every day, and you're excited about the future, and your eating is under control, and you feel good, and you nourish your body at a high level, and your body's just humming along. Which would you pick? I mean, it's not a trick question. You've been led down this path where you're so disassociated from your goal weight, it means nothing to you. It's just a number. When you think your goal weight, you don't get a wave of inspiration, excitement, and, oh yeah, I want to feel better and I feel ease and comfortable. You don't do any of that. You think your goal weight and you feel like shit that you don't weigh that. So, that's the core reason why you're struggling with your weight is your goal weight's fucked. That's what I started with this. 3 reasons your goal weight sucks. It does though. It's not my fault. I'm going to help you with it though. Don't worry. I got you. And it's going to be profound. I'm so excited. It's taken me a little while. I had to go through, hey, that's life. I will tell you that too. It's like you all want to lose weight, and the industry has taught you to like, okay, you just start today and then you'll be at your goal weight tomorrow, next month, whatever. And it's like, no, you'll start today and you'll get all you'll do good, and then you'll do terrible, and then you'll get frustrated and get annoyed, and then you keep going. That's how it's going to go if you're going to do it that way. But the diet industry has conditioned you to think of it just like, oh, no, I just start one day and I just stick with it. No, that's not true. So anyways, you realize that when I help you find your goal weight. This is agreed. I love the climb, do it myself. Yep. And the obsess over loose skin and looking older in face. Yes, absolutely. That's true too. I mean, and again, I'm not sitting here. I don't want to talk negative about all the medicines because I just don't want to be that person. I think our whole culture now is just so fucking black and white, all or nothing thinking. And so you either love the medicines and they're the best things in the world, or you absolutely hate them and there's nothing good about them. And no, everything's most truths are right in the middle somewhere. And I think they're good and bad. But I think I will say, I mean, I would say a relatively bad thing about the medicine potentially is that you lose weight so quick, you do lose muscle mass. That is, if you study like what these companies are worried about, that's the biggest thing they're worried about is the rate of muscle loss. I mean, now listen though, when you lose weight, you lose muscle anyways. But this GLP-1 weight loss for some people is happening so fast that they are losing too much muscle that they pretty much will never be able to get back. And that's a concern, from rapid weight loss. So there it is. And then that leads to the Ozempic face thing, where again, you look thinner, but you also look sicker, older. That's a real thing. What do you want? When you lose weight really fast, I mean, there's consequences to everything, folks. I mean, come on, you know that. There's nothing, again, the fucking pharmaceutical industry, really? That's what I will say. I don't trust the pharmaceutical industry. This medicine is brand new for weight loss. Let it be known that they've tested it for 20, 30 years on type 2 diabetics who are diabetic. They have not tested this at scale with people that don't have diabetes that are just using it for weight loss. They haven't tested this with people that are 40 pounds overweight and start using it. So, and I'm not even saying I'm not even saying health-wise it's going to have any damaging effects. But I'm saying quality of life, perhaps, who knows? That's real. And the pharmaceutical industry obviously going to put out the best. That's why I say, you'll probably never think more positively about the medicines than you do right now. And I think from this point until next year, I think a lot of people are going to start thinking differently about it, at least thinking about it in a bigger picture, because I think most people don't realize you get 12 to 16 months of weight loss and then it stops. Now, maybe they'll figure that out. But at this point here, you're getting about 12 to 16 months of weight loss. And then that's it. That's the weight you're going to be at forever on that. So I think a lot of people don't know that. And when you start doing the numbers, will you be happy? Because how much weight can you lose in 16 months, right? The average is about 13, 14% a year. So say you lose 20% of your weight. If you lost 20% of your weight and that was it, would you be happy at that weight? I don't know. It's something to think about. Karen says, what do you do when you plateau and still want to lose more? I mean, again, in Program Yourself, then we use plateaus as a chance to practice maintenance. And so it's a different framing around it. But again, when you're dieting, everything's about that scale going down. So as soon as you hit pockets of time where the scale stops moving, which you're always going to hit at some point, it gets really hard to keep going because all that matters is a scale going down. And now that stops. So now your motivation gets real wobbly. So again, what I would suggest is that when you hit a plateau, you treat it as maintenance. And in Program Yourself, then maintenance means that we spend time making what we're doing. So whatever you did to lose the weight, in maintenance mode, we're now making it, whatever we did, be more enjoyable and easier. So whatever changes you made to lose the weight, now we stick with those changes. We don't do more changes. We don't cut more out. We focus on what we're doing and we work to make it easier and more automatic to do those things. Easier and more enjoyable. And then, because then what we want to do is we want to see, is your body just need to kind of catch up? So once I hit a plateau, I want to give it a month and then keep doing what I'm doing. And then I want to see, is my body just adjusting? It's going to let go more weight, just doing what I'm doing? Or after a month, if my weight stays at the same thing, now I can say, okay, let me look at what I've been working on here, what I've been optimizing, making more enjoyable and easier. And let me look at that and say, where can I cut some more calories out in the easiest way possible? I'll cut those out and then I'll see where the weight goes. So notice that calm, rational, reasonable approach. It's not rocket science. It's just that you usually think about your weight in such an emotionally, untethered way that it's hard to think straight. Carrie says, F them charts. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Plus the cost of the meds. Yeah. The medicine's really expensive. And from what I know, those medicines are going to be expensive for a long time. Now, by the way, you say, oh, look at Hims and Hers. That shit isn't even FDA approved. Just so you know. So, make a distinction if you want to do that, because I don't know what's in it. I don't know why it's not FDA approved, but you may not realize that when you see their ads. Says, oh, no, it's getting cheaper, Jim. Yeah, well, that shit is, because I don't know what it is. But the actual approved medicines at this point, they're still expensive, and they've got patents on them. So I don't see why they would be a lot less expensive for a while. So I don't know. I mean, who knows? We'll see what happens. But again, regardless, it's all just relative. And most of you don't even consider the concept of transforming your mindset, lifestyle, and eating into that of a thin, healthy person so you can be thin and healthy for the rest of your life naturally. So that you can live at your goal weight for the rest of your life on your autopilot. None of you else really consider that as an option. And so if you take that out of the mix, then yeah, GLP-1 seem like a miracle. But when you put that in the mix, it seems like, well, this other thing seems a lot better. But maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. Melancholy says, hunger is not why I eat, so GLP-1 won't help. I eat my stress. I eat to change my state. Yeah, well, it could still help with that too. Sometimes it does seem that the GLP-1s, again, I mentioned you have GLP-1 receptors in your brain, and it does seem potentially that these GLP-1 medicines may impact your reward systems, your pleasure systems. So it could affect that. Now it could affect that in multiple ways too. It could cause you to have less pleasure, kind of like an antidepressant, where your whole sense of pleasure starts to decrease. Maybe that's how they partly work. So again, there's just GLP-1s are very new, and they seem relatively safe in the ways that they measure safety, but you don't get a full picture of it, and you will not have a full picture of the GLP-1s. They did this, what was it with? It was an antipsychotic that was safe, but what they found out is 60 years into people using it, that it led to increased rates of Alzheimer's and other dementias. So again, I'm not trying to scare anyone. There's no indication that's going to happen, but there's no evidence that that's not going to happen either. I don't know. So again, everything's relative to what the options are. And I just think there's way better options. I would never take a GLP-1 over doing Program Yourself Thin. Like I would never. You're like, oh, Jim, but you can, you don't have to do your mindset work anymore. You don't have to live the lifestyle you lead. And you don't have to structure your eating the way you're doing. Fuck that. You can just take the GLP-1. I'd be like, no way. This is way better. This is fucking way better than a GLP-1. I'm in control of my mind. I'm in control of my lifestyle. I'm in control of my eating. So not only am I at the weight I want, but I'm constantly improving each and every day. I got a mindset that has me fired up and excited to live the rest of my life at my goal weight. I love how I live, and it keeps improving. I keep feeling better and better and better, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I keep feeling better with my eating. It keeps improving and getting better. I keep nourishing myself at higher and higher levels. So yeah, keep your GLP-1. It's not even I don't like that. No, I didn't take GLP-1. No. I mean, if anything, I call it nature's Ozempic, and I'm being a little tongue in cheek, but not as well. But I feel like I experienced an Ozempic effect. I don't know if it was 6 years ago now, when I started eating giant salads for lunch. I read How Not to Die, and it transformed my mindset on what nutrition really was. And I started eating really nutrient dense, nutrient variety based salads. And ironically, it's less calories than the lunch I used to eat. But all of a sudden, I was never hungry in the afternoon, and I went into dinner 30 to 50% less hungry. It was crazy. Now, I had no idea what was doing that. But now that I understand GLP-1s, there was no question that there was an increase in GLP-1 because I started eating so much more fiber. I started to eat so much higher nutrient dense foods. And that really changed my hunger level. It's very similar to what GLP-1 people say. So I think that that's the closest I've gotten to it. But it was dramatic. I mean, I'm a vegetarian. I went from being a real big meat eater to being a vegetarian. And I would still put that transformation. I really feel this way. I feel like it was a bigger transformation to go from being a vegetarian who didn't eat a giant salad 4 days a week. That was a bigger shift in my reality my hunger, I should say, than going from being a huge meat eater to being a plant-based, pescatarian. Melancholy said, I'd rather program myself than poke myself thin. Thanks, Jim, for giving us so much to work with. That's awesome. I love that. I will be using that. Thank you, Melancholy. Shout out to Melancholy for my new catchphrase. I'd rather program myself than poke myself thin. Me too. So I think it's superior by 100 miles for most people. Yep. Karen says that was the hardest for me to learn, ride through the plateau and not reduce any more calories. Yeah, exactly. I get that. That is a hard thing to do because you're just so obsessed with weight loss that it's hard not to just like try and want to kick that forward. So I get it. Yeah, fiber and nutrient density was the big one. New here, first thought he did take it. No, I did not take it. And I don't like it. I don't, again, I'm not against it. I don't like the way medicines are marketed in this culture where, again, you can scroll through TikTok, especially once you land on one, I imagine, but it's like, you'll see people days on it, how much weight I've lost. And everything about the weight loss industry is about losing weight. And it's the big dazzling, shiny thing they dangle in front of you. But the reality is it's not about weight loss. It's about living at your goal weight. And that's the part that I want to focus people on. Lassie says, eggs and avocado has helped my hunger. Yeah, eggs and avocado, beans, tons of fiber, more nutrient dense foods. This shit will change your life. I mean, it's the secret. If you are looking for a secret, that's the secret, is eat more fiber. Processed food, the number one thing they strip from processed food is fiber. It doesn't process well. So it's really important that you transform your diet, not just cut the calories down. That's a huge, huge realization. All right. That's a good catchphrase. It really is. That's a good one, Melancholy. So thank you for that. All right, everyone, when we get out of here, thank you so much for listening. Great questions, great comments, especially the old rather program myself thin than poke myself thin. Yes. So that's awesome. All right. Yeah, if you are new here, I'm here every day, Monday through Friday, usually around noon Eastern. So feel free to ask your questions, whatever they are. I'm here to help you get control of your weight and help you in any way that I can. So go check that out. It's also a podcast, so you can listen to this on any of the podcast platforms. And if you're newish here at all, you should go to my bio and click the link and get the hypnosis session, because you'll get a free hypnosis session. You will get a video training I made for you that's really good. And this week, I'll be sending you the training I put together for how to choose your goal weight, the right goal weight, not the bullshit you've been carrying around. So yeah, so go to programyourselfthin.com and get that free hypnosis session, or click the link in my bio to get it. Either way. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a super duper day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.